and welcome to another interesting edition of Rising Borno, where we bring to you happenings and developmental strides of Governor Babagana Zulum's administration. My name is Dorcas Yakubuzala. Let's begin. Borno State Governor Babagana Zulum has lauded the Northeast Development Commission (NEDC) for its medium and long-term sustainable projects in Borno. He noted that the Commission's projects in the state have impacted on lives of the people and boosted infrastructural development. He made the remark during the handover of 13 projects to the state government. The projects include police stations and barracks in Bama and Konduga local governments, upgraded Borno State Central Medical Store, renovated and equipped eye and dental hospital, including ICT Center for agency mass literacy, among others. Governor Zulum commended the NEDC, saying the project complements his administration's 10-point agenda on security, health, education, livelihood, housing, amongst others, which are key to post-insurgency recovery plan. He appealed for more sustainable projects in the state. Meanwhile, the Minister of Regional Development, Maigari Uba, hinted that it plans to establish a pharmaceutical company in the Northeast to save costs of importing drugs.
I'm very much impressed with what we have seen on ground, because looking at what has been done today is very marvelous, because this is a hospital. So the need to provide affordable healthcare delivery system in Borno State needs not to be overemphasized. This hospital is well equipped and well furnished with the support of the Northeast Development Commission. We heard it from the Chief Medical Director of this hospital that with the facilities that have been provided here, this hospital will have the capacity to start residency training in both dental as well as in ophthalmology. And I think this is something that we need to commend the Northeast Development Commission. Furthermore, another very important project that we have commissioned is the refurbishing, reconstruction, and provision of sustainable power supply to our drug management agency. This is very important. We have drugs, but we need to keep the drugs at the required temperature for usage. And the last but not the least, among those projects that have been commissioned include the provision of accommodation and offices to police. This is very important. These two LGS were LGS that were destroyed by Boko Haram. So we need to re-establish civil authorities in this LGS. So the provision of these facilities will no doubt provide this type of opportunities to the government and people of Borno State to establish civil authorities in these local government areas. And above all, you had 60 boreholes were also drilled. Water supply is the first necessity of life. And I believe all these projects are welcome development to the government and people of Borno State. I want to use this opportunity to once again commend the Northeast Development Commission. I said it all, that there is no any federal agency that has done so well to the government and people of Borno State than the Northeast Development Commission as at now. In addition to this, you have seen some of the major road projects that were constructed by the Northeast Development Commission. While commending them, I also want to inform them that what we need henceforth is to have more projects that will have bearing in the lives of the people of Borno State. We want to move forward from providing shorter-term, non-sustainable solution to medium and long-term sustainable and durable solution to the government and people of Borno State. But I will commend them, and I've given them a vote of confidence. Thank you very much.
Your Excellency, how does these complement your developmental strides across the state, the projects?
I think you have seen the 10 points agenda of Borno State, and you have seen our 25-year development plan. One of our key main priorities is security. I said it all. Secondly, we said about means of livelihood. We have spoken about reconstruction, rehabilitation, and settlement. You have seen uh, building materials were provided for us so that we can construct more houses for the settlement. And you have seen also educational facilities is one of our pillars. Health facility is also one of our pillars. Water supply is also one of our pillars. So Northeast Development Commission has almost touched almost all the pillars that the Borno State government is working on in order to provide recovery to the people of Borno State.
When we made specific decisions we took as a ministry, I said that we are ambitious on purpose. Taking a cue from the governor's statement, we are moving ahead, taking it to a notch higher than where the NEDC is today. That is why we say that for the future, like as it pertains the health sector, we went with you all to see the pharma grade drug facility, and in complementing that, we decided to invest in the construction of a pharmaceutical company so as to manufacture drugs. In the long term, it will save cost because rather than go and import drugs, we will manufacture drugs probably in Maiduguri and replicate centers in the other states of the Northeast. That way, we will save money from taking jobs abroad. We localize our activities here. That is one aspect. From the moment we went out in the morning today, we've crisscrossed areas from security to infrastructure to health to education. That signifies that there is a collaboration, a very good one, between federal agencies and the state governments who are hosts. And incidentally, as a matter of fact, the agency which we supervise is supposed to collaborate with the state governments so as to take its needs, not just two projects on the states. We collaborate with the states to have what it needs as priorities so that we don't waste money duplicating services. In a nutshell, we've been doing that, and so far so good.
Well, as chairman, all I have to say is to say thank you very much to the governor for appreciating what we have done so far. We haven't done anything extraordinary, but we have tried according to our mandate here in Borno State as well as other states. Here is good in the sense that it is the headquarters and it is where the brunt of insurgency has taken place. And so much needed to be done here. That's what we've tried to do. Same thing we've tried in the other states. Adamawa, Gombe, Bauchi, Taraba, and so on. You have seen for yourselves, as the Excellency has already said. We are grateful and have commended our efforts. We are very grateful for appreciation and we promise to do more and more and more according to the resources given to us. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Borno State Governor Babagana Umara Zulum has urged the Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, to prioritize energy accessibility for vulnerable populations. Speaking at the 6th National Council on Power NACOP Summit held on Thursday in Maiduguri, Zulum emphasized that electricity should not be treated solely as a profit-driven commodity, but rather harnessed for economic opportunity, health, education, and agriculture. The governor expressed gratitude to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for the numerous interventions in the power sector in the state. He announced that Borno State government is aligning with the federal government to domesticate the national power reforms. Speaking earlier, the Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, enumerated the successes recorded from recent reforms and initiatives under the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Consolidated reforms for a sustainable energy future in Nigeria. This theme is timely and crucial for our nation's development because it speaks directly to the heart of our national challenge and our shared ambition. calls on us not just to reflect on the progress we have made, but to double our efforts to institutionalize reforms, attract sustainable investment, and guarantee energy access for every Nigerian. The power sector remains the backbone of economic growth, social development, and national security. As Executive Governor of Borno State, I witnessed firsthand the transformative power of renewable energy. I've also experienced the debilitating effects of this act. In a state that has endured so much, the consistent provision of power is not just about economic growth, it is about rebuilding lives, fostering hope, and empowering our people to reclaim their rightful place in the prosperous Nigeria. Over the past few years, we have witnessed a journey of significant reforms within the power sector. We have acknowledged the systemic challenges that confront the inefficiencies and laid the groundwork for a more robust and responsive energy landscape. From privatization efforts to tariff adjustment, from grid expansion initiation to the promotion of renewable energy, these reforms, though sometimes difficult, were absolutely necessary. This represents our collective commitment moving beyond the constraints of the past and embracing the future power by innovation and efficiency. In states like Borno, long affected by insurgency and infrastructure vandalism, these challenges are even more pronounced. The Borno state government has made significant steps to align the national reforms by expanding off-grid solutions, supporting renewable energy pilots, and facilitating access to energy for our rural communities. Borno State has faced significant challenges with power supply, but we are committed to promoting sustainable energy solutions under my administration. We have made notable achievements in the power sector. Borno State has collaborated with the Transmission Company of Nigeria to repair and maintain the national grid infrastructure in the state. We have also provided logistics support and security personnel to facilitate the repair of the transmission lines and substations, ensuring the stability of the national grids. Our efforts have resulted in improved power supply. We will continue to work with the Transmission Company of Nigeria, Euro Distribution Company, and other stakeholders to ensure reliable power supply for our citizens. In this regard, Borno State government, we have carried out some electrification projects in the state. Notably, the electrification of Maiduguri Damatu 33 kVA, twin 33 kVA line is almost completed. Let me acknowledge the support that we receive from the federal government from the procurement of the electrical installation items. These items were handed over to the government of Borno State. But Borno State government spent over 1.5 billion naira in providing alternative power supply should in case the 338 kVA fails.
This year's council meeting is especially timely, coming at a critical juncture in our nation's electric sector reforms journey. The theme, consolidating reforms for a suitable energy future in Nigeria, is not only appropriate, but also a call to action. A tracking and a monitoring of the consequences of all the reforms that we are undertaking. The Federal Ministry of Power, in collaboration with state agencies and with the full support of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, has undertaken several bold and necessary reforms and initiatives to ensure sector development and sustainability over the past 2 years of this administration. The remarkable successes recorded from recent reforms and initiatives aimed at laying the foundation for a functional power sector speak to our consistent and resilient efforts as a sector to place the industry on a sustainable path towards bankability and growth. The path to achieve this is not as easy as we envisaged, but we are sure that with our consistency and resilience, we shall get to the promised land. For emphasis, let me speak to some of our major achievements since the beginning of the current administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and my assumption of office as the Honorable Minister of Power for the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Sincerely, for us to appreciate the destination we are heading to, we are all conscious of where we are coming from in achieving transformation of the power sector. And we must be fully on top of what we have been able to achieve to date, establish the gap, and agree on the strategy to move us to our destination. Firstly, let me begin with our progress in market liquidity and sector reforms, which are reshaping our sector's landscape. In line with the Electricity Act of 2023, the federal government, through the Ministry of Power, has developed the National Integrated Electricity Policy to provide a clear, evidence-based roadmap for a resilient and sustainable power sector. The electricity policy approved by the Federal Executive Council is now being followed by a strategic implementation plan detailing action points, timelines, and stakeholder coordination. Additionally, the Integrated Resource Plan (IRP) has been presented, focusing on least cost electrification and efficient energy resource use. Together, the electricity policy and the resource plan aim to transform the power sector, enhance reliability, support small and medium-scale enterprises and industries, and ultimately drive economic growth and development. Now, there is a clear direction, there is a clear guide for the sector. The last electricity policy that we had was in 2001. That was 24 years ago. So we believe that we must put the sector on a pedestal that can actually find its setting and its destination. Now we have achieved this. And this is a copy of the Nigeria Integrated Electricity Policy, where every stakeholder now know the opportunities around the sector, they know their limitations, and they know a lot of things guiding the operations of the power sector across all segments, from generation to transmission to distribution to renewable energy to capacity development to local content development for sustainability of the sector.
Borno State Governor Professor Babagana Umara Zulum has promised to provide educational scholarship for children of the slain civilian JTF members that lost their lives along Dikwa Marte Road IED explosion. 8 members of the force were tragically killed in an improvised explosive device attack along the road on Tuesday. The governor also announced an immediate assistance of 5 million naira to each of the bereaved families to cater for their basic needs. Zulum made the announcement on Thursday during a condolence visit to families of the fallen heroes. He described them as martyrs who made ultimate sacrifices in defense of their communities, assuring that their bravery would never be forgotten. Governor Zulum prayed for the repose of their souls and urged their families to bear the loss with strength and fortitude. In Borno State, where the scars of insurgency still runs deep, Governor Babagana Zulum has reaffirmed his administration's commitment to protecting children from the horrors of war, including violence, exploitation, and terrorist recruitment. Speaking at the 5th World Congress on Justice with Children in Maiduguri, Zulum promised that the atrocities of the past, where children were taken, broken, and turned into tools of war, would not be allowed to happen again. The United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime estimates that over 1,300 children were recruited into Boko Haram ranks over the past decade in Borno alone.
It is an honor to stand before you today in my country, the city that has borne witness to the tragic toll of violent extremism, but also that one that stands as a beacon of hope, resilience, and youth-led change. Children should never be associated with the horror of conflict, and yet, in too many cases, children have been abducted, trafficked, exploited, and forcibly recruited into armed groups and criminal groups, including terrorist groups. Since 2009, we know that Boko Haram has committed grave violations against children, with thousands recruited and exploited. We have verified reports from 2017 to 2019 documented the recruitment of at least 1,385 children. But we also know that this number barely scratched the surface. These figures are not just statistics. Each one is a child, a life, a future in jeopardy. In a country where 60% are considered youth, so the development of Nigeria and its future depend on its youth.
In this very soil where we gather today, remember, our teachers have been brutally murdered. Our classrooms we consider as safe havens set ablaze, dreams interrupted, and childhood stolen by insurgency, under the barbaric shade that Western education is prohibited. We have buried too many futures. We have cried too many nights. We have watched too many children grow up too soon. Many innocent lives lost due to terrorism and violent extremist groups. And yet, we are still here. We did not bury our hope. Because when the world saw only massacre, we saw the foundations of a future not yet built. We have shown remarkable resilience. We are not defined by what we lost, but by what we rise each day to rebuild. Right Honorable Ibrahim Zanna Sunoma is my name. I am a one-time speaker of the Borno State Children's Parliament, incumbent Deputy Speaker of the Nigeria National Children's Parliament, a child rights activist, and a proud son of Borno State. We gather today under the umbrella of justice. But what is justice to a child who has never known peace? What is justice to a girl forced into silence by shame and stigma? What is justice to a boy born in displacement, raised in trauma and forgotten in policy? Justice for children is not a promise. It is a duty, a sacred duty, a loud echo in the conscience of humanity.
Too often, justice for children is misunderstood. It is not about courts and punishment. Must be rooted in compassion, protection, and understanding. Children are not threats. They are human beings with stories. I come from a region that has known the sound of gunshots more than the sound of school bells. From communities where children learn how to survive before they learn how to spell. From places where fear is more familiar than hope. And yet I stand here. I stand here because I believe. I believe with every part of me that the world can do better for us. Let me take you back to 2024. Last year, something happened that I will never forget. Across parts of Nigeria, not just the Northeast, children took to the streets. They were not protesting for schools or technology or luxury. They were protesting for food, hunger. Some carried sticks not to fight, but as symbols of their desperation. They were too young to understand the consequences, too innocent to know how it would be seen. But the response, arrest, beatings, fear. Some were treated like criminals. Some were locked away. Some still carried out trauma in silence. What kind of justice is that? That is not justice, that is violence wrapped in silence. Before I close, let me say this. We always say children are leaders of tomorrow, but how can we lead tomorrow if we are being destroyed today? We say we are the hope for the future, but hope cannot breathe in fear. Hope needs freedom, hope needs justice, and hope needs action. What we need to see. As advocates, we call for systems that uphold the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Child, especially Articles 37 and 40, which prohibits arbitrary detention and ensure due process for every child.
You are absolutely right when you mention that justice for children is not about justice sought for in court. We at the justice sector, we are not too keen about courts when it comes to our children. And I think we are clear about this. On many occasions, I have sat with the Chief Judge of Borno State, being the head of all courts, to discuss about juvenile justice. We have discussed a lot of things. We have discussed about rehabilitation of our children. We have discussed about family courts, where we will try our children without being exposed to the traditional court settings. We have discussed a lot. I want to assure the children of Borno State that they are always, always in the core of our decision making, in the core of our policy making, and in the core of our hearts when it comes to discussions around justice. And it is unfortunate, I always say that no child should have gone through what children of Borno State have gone through within the period of the insurgency. And I am reassuring you again that we will do all that it takes to make our children to feel the real impact of juvenile justice.
Officials, partners, and civil society groups at the Congress agreed healing Borno's future means investing in its children. And while the war may have stolen their innocence, the hope is that with the right support, every child can rebuild, not just survive, but thrive. And that brings us to the end of Rising Borno. Join us again for another interesting edition next week. I am Dorcas Yakubuzala. Goodbye.